All right. All right, there we go. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. And we're gonna get right into it. We can start with there's a whole lot of things we could really start. We can start with Jeremiah 30:7, and then second Ezra 16. And pretty much in light of all the things that have been going on, right? We've been making some observations as to how the narrative is being formed, and it's moving very quickly. Right? I was watching a couple of videos last night on different basically aspects of this whole border situation, ICE situation, and sort of like the resistance to it by a lot of the Democratic side, right? So you're seeing a lot of cases where now it's not a matter of fact. Let's start with also Second Ezra 6 and around 24. Now it's going past a matter of just disagreement, a matter of opposing sides of I don't see it from your point of view to a serious fight back, right? These from what we're seeing, the footage and so on, the opposition to this deportation is it's serious, right? It's not something that's just like your average protest that people go and they gather, and when the police start throwing the tear gas and the crowd control ammunition, they start scattering and running all over the place. This time, people are actually serious. You got people that are vandalizing ICE cars, right? They're taking nails and they're basically deflating the tires, right? You had a video, I think this was in California. They're in an ICE raid where you had they basically had them vans and cars zooming out of there because the people were throwing these huge rocks right through the windows, cracking the windows, hitting them, trying to get them out of there, right? So there's a whole lot of real aggression that you're seeing, even in terms of the pushback from the people, because like I said, this isn't a case of like an officer choked out Jake to death, right? And now you're protesting against that. At that point, it has already happened, right? So you're basically protesting because you're upset that it happened, and you want to change and whatnot. This is a situation that is ongoing, right? This is a case where it's not a narrative that they're pushing on TV alone. They're physical actions towards it, right? You're seeing actual people getting grabbed up on the street and getting sent to either deported or sent to different detention centers. Some of them apparently being even U.S. citizens, right? There was a video of a woman, and she was saying that, you had an individual that was detained. Now, she said that this individual was detained, and they found out when they looked into it that he was a U.S. citizen. So when they took it before the court, the judge said there was no probable cause, looking this up and down the street, there was no probable cause, so they got to let him go. And they said, nah, we ain't trying to do that. So we're going to keep his ass over here for now. So, you have a lot of the, basically it's Jacob's trouble, right? You're starting to see, because the majority of people they're going after, you're not seeing Moabites, right? Or so-called Chinese people in here. You're not seeing like Chinese faces. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not grabbing them up too. They may be, right? But the majority of faces you're seeing are Northern Kingdom and very soon to be Southern Kingdom as well. And this is all leading into that time. As a matter of fact, it is in that time of Jacob's trouble that the Lord said would come upon the face of the planet Earth. So now you can't say I'm going to sue them or I'm going to fight back with legal measures, because those legal measures are being twisted and they're being used against you. And that's what you get for trusting in Egypt. Go ahead. Jeremiah or let's do Second Ezra 6, and then we'll go into Jeremiah from there.
So this book of Second Ezra is chapter 6 and 24.
Yeah, I think that's the one that says French help. Yeah, that's the one.
Verse 24, and it reads, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies."
Yeah, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Because at one point, you had, once upon a time, you had the Republicans and then Democrats, right? And they weren't. Right now, it looks like a kind of like civil war vibe already going on, right? But once upon a time, it was more so like, oh, this person says they're a Democrat. Oh, this person says they're a Republican. Oh, they don't agree with how the Democrats do this, that, and the third. The Republicans are more, like the patricians of the ancient Roman times. Now it's more so like full on up. Yo, something flat, man. It's like full on opposition, headbutting. You know, one side threatening to arrest politicians on the other side, right? The other side threatening to do the same. They're saying we're not going to support ICE, right? There was was it Chicago? Yeah, it was Chicago. I forget what position he was. It was the mayor or one of them. Basically came out and said we're not going to do. Matter of fact, we're going to resist ICE. We're not going to support ICE. We're not going. Nope, that's not happening over here. Now, when somebody who's in that position says that concerning their state, okay, about federal law enforcement, that's what they call obstruction of justice. So what do you think an individual like Trump, the scriptures refer to as a cruel Lord, what do you think an individual like that is going to do? Hey, Shalom.
Hey, shalom. Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
Beautiful.
What do you think an individual like that is going to do when these kind of when he's faced with a situation like this? You already got people over there in the Senate talking about this. This is a dictatorship already. They said that when you have I think that was when they did the vote to say that ICE can deport U.S. citizens, and then they were saying that this is a dictatorship when you got basically a case like this where a guy is just getting whatever he wants based on who's in certain positions. You're basically cooked at that point. So I'm telling you, he already came out and said, right, to defend why they have masks on, why they're wearing masks or covering their faces. He already defended that. And at the end of his statement, Trump, that is, he said the law enforcement are at the top of the list, right, in terms of like his concerns or who he's protecting. He said they're at the top of the list. What does that mean? That means when you got situations like what's going on over or what happened in Texas, where I think it was an ICE agent got shot, right? Or what happened in California where they shot, you had some of the protesters shoot back at the ICE agents. The border czar was saying it's just a matter of time before an officer goes down, right? And it's just a matter of time before you start having casualties on both sides. And guess what? You have one casualty on one side, the next is going to cause two. The next is going to double that. It's going to go that now you actually have chaos going on. And then one of the other videos that I saw, I forget if it was like a congressional hearing or some form of hearing, and the lady was trying to press the guy. I forget what position he was, but she was trying to press him. She said, "Yo, was it not told you basically that you're given permission to bring in the military and they can use lethal force against the people?" And he was basically trying to dance around the question. He said, "And you were told basically shoot them at the legs." Shoot the legs. At least that way you're using deadly force, but you ain't aiming for vital organs. So if you get them in the legs, they ain't going nowhere after that. And his answer was, I forgot what he said, but he ended up just referring to. He said there's a lot of he said something about you're reading a lot of fictional something, right? But the only fictional something about the Bible. Anyway, that's what he said. So the point is, he never answered the question, right? He basically just dodged around the question. And now you're starting to see a lot of mention of this is unconstitutional. This is illegal. What Trump is doing by giving them the right to just come up into your house if they suspect that you are if you are harboring an illegal alien, as they call them, and more specifically a gang member. They have reasonable cause. They can just come up in your house without a warrant. And when you look at the memos that they're using to bring this up, they're digging out different acts and executive orders that were on the books years and years and years ago. Now you ask yourself, presidents in the past didn't really a lot of presidents in the past signed these executive orders, but very few of them enacted them. And now you got Trump and his agency, and they're going back. They're like, yep, bring that one out. Yep, get that one too. Yep, that one and that one. You don't get no due process. That one too. Because now what Biden did was Biden created an America that can be justified as a state of emergency, right? Where you have your Rex 84 and all that coming into play. So Trump is basically going to be like a wartime president, the one who comes in. The country is now developed into like a chaotic situation, and now he got to bring in that order. And that's when people going to find out why he is a cruel Lord. Did we finish on 2nd Ezra 6? All right, finish on that.
Continuing, and the earth shall stand in fear with them.
Yeah, the earth shall stand in fear with them, because the way things are developing is going to lead to chaos. It's going to lead to bloodshed. The prophets, when almost all the prophets, when they prophesy concerning this time of Jacob's trouble, there is some form of death, bloodshed, pain, and suffering. Yahushua himself said that this was the beginning of sorrows. So the whole world is going to stand in fear based on, one, the things that are happening to them, and two, the things they're seeing happening to others. All right? The world that you knew before is going to be gone. What's going to happen is, what you're seeing is, you had in the past, right? It's very interesting how the process of desensitization works, right? In the past, you had a lot of the whole concept of politically correct PC. It didn't exist in the past. And you want to find out? Go and watch those old TV shows. You actually had TV shows where you had the host kissing little children on their lips and shit. You know, parents would bring their kids over there, and I forget what kind of show it was, but I guess they could win something. And this guy would get mad close to them and shit, talking about some, you know, aren't you a pretty little girl? You know, and then you want to give me a kiss, and they'd be like, nah. And then one of them say, you dirty old man. He said, oh, I guess you can't win the prize then, you know. And you can see the kids were uncomfortable, but they had that shit on TV, and it was like a TV show that people would watch. It didn't get canceled. The dude is roaming around free. You got TV shows like the Boondocks. If you go back and watch that today, you'd be like, damn, they allowed that to air? Today you get canceled for sneezing wrong. So what you saw was you know, a raw world, uncensored, to a very, very heavily censored time, to now a complete 180 of that, again, through chaos. That was it on that?
No.
All right.
And the springs of the fountain shall stand still and not flow for 3 hours.
Yeah, because you're gonna have those droughts, right? As you're gonna have chaos on every front. People disagreeing with each other, civil war, civil turmoil, troops on the ground, right? These military vehicles. And look, right now, people going around, they see a tank and they'll go around and they'll try to like block the streets and all that. That's because in their mind, they're like, these guys ain't gonna run me over with a tank. That's gonna look crazy out here. But when they do run you over with a tank, people ain't gonna be jumping in front of the street anymore, because they're gonna think twice, like, this thing might actually run me over. His ass is crazy. All right. What's the next one? Yeah, that's a good one.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and 7, and it reads, Alas, for that day is great.
Oh, and also, I think I sent this to you, Aharon. I saw a video. I was watching quite a couple videos. Well, one was the elder brother Amoan Gabar from the GMS main camp. He said he had a dream, I think it was last night, about martial law in Manhattan, right? And he was basically going into it as to how, like, you know, it was crazy. You had like all hell had broken loose. You had the troops out, you know, and all of that. And it's interesting the timing of that, right? We know the scriptures. The Lord said He would pour out His Spirit, and we would have dreams and visions of the times that we're coming into. And then the other one that I saw was the one I sent to you, where you had an ICE checkpoint in Fordham, right over there in the Bronx, and you got Jake recording it, and you can tell by their reaction that they're so cooked, because they've been seeing. It's not like the first time they've heard of ICE. They know what's going on, but in a lot of people's minds, it's not real until they've seen it face to face, or they're in that experience. If they're not in that experience, it's not real to them. All right. Yeah, if they're not experiencing it, the water, it's not real to them. So when they actually saw it happening, they saw people getting detained and taken away. They're like, oh shit, yo, this shit crazy, yo. They got them in the, oh, yo, this shit really real. The fuck you mean this shit really real? What do you think it was? It was fake because it was on TV. So very soon, as you see, they're blurring the lines between who their targets are. We always tell you it's the same tactic. They use it again and again. The first off, opening the borders and letting anybody come in, that was letting the person into the building. The starting off with illegal immigrants was getting the foot in the door. They get you to open the door, right? And then when you open the door and you're talking to them, they put their foot right there, so you can't close the door. That's all they need. If you want to get into the crib, as long as you got the foot there and they can't close the door, eventually you just, you find your way up in there. So that's what the illegal immigrant narrative was, is to get the foot in the door of a situation to where you can use federal law enforcement to go into people's houses. And now you're starting to see what we would always say as FEMA camps and like FEMA troops. Well, now they just changed the name to ICE, or they just labeled it ICE, and they're doing those same things. They're coming up into people's houses. They meet people on the street. They said, look, we looked into your stuff. You look like you were doing it the right way, but you're still getting up out of here. So you're starting to see all of those steps that are eventually going to lead to that time of martial law, because people are going to resist. Yeah, son? See you reaching for the mic over there. Yeah, you have something you want to say? Oh, he's probably doing this. Are you doing settings? Okay, cool. Go ahead on that.
Alas, for that day is great.
Yeah, and you know why it's going to be great? It's going to be great in destruction, but it's also going to be great in deliverance. But you know what's going to be interesting is Jacob. You're going to find out why it's called Jacob's trouble, because you're going to be in trouble. Everybody is going to feel it, but you're going to be the main targets, right? That's the thing that you don't consider. You think you're a bystander, but you're going to be the main targets. Go ahead.
So that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Yeah. So you're seeing it on all fronts. You're seeing the artificial intelligence developing more and more. Now it's really deceptive, right? Now, you had Elon Musk with a Grok 4, the newest model. Apparently, it can make video games and all of that. And he said he thinks that you can see the first full AI generated movie that you can like an actual movie you can watch. If not this year, by early next year, you should be able to see that. And you had was it in Miami? You had that individual that got the C hip, planted inside of them. So this thing is moving. And as we said, every time you see the geopolitical, the World War III news speed up, the other prophecies are going to speed up even more, because they gotta. If World War III is looking like it's in the lead, the MOTB gotta zoom past that, because it needs to cross the finish line first before that World War III. Because, as a matter of fact, World War III really comes shortly after, because World War III is the judgment for people who take the MOTB. It tells you that in Revelation 14:9. Tells it on that. Yeah, man. All right. If brothers don't got anything, we're gonna jump into 2 Ezra 16.
Yeah, I got a. Yeah, brothers, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
God, shalom. Yabashim Shabrakatan. You made a great point, and actually, the video that you sent earlier, in regards to what was going on at Fordham, that's just a precursor, and we actually mentioned that this morning in the sense that this is all basically just like Esau has always been doing, because we've been prophesying that all these days are going to come to pass. But see, they know that the word has gone out where people are aware that they're actually working on these things. Going decades ago, going presidents like 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10 presidents ago, right? They've been setting these things up, going all the way to the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. They've been preparing for this time. All right, so now they've got the people in a place where they can literally show you what they're doing, and people are still not going to put the pieces together and look at it as a threat. Why? Because it's not happening how we said it was going to happen, or at least, how the impact will play out, in the sense that they're going to just storm your streets and then start taking you up. That's what they're doing now. But see, they're able to get away with it now, or at least make it come off like as a soft coup, in the sense that because of social media. Because these things, imagine what ICE is doing right now being done 20, 30 years ago. That would be a big deal. Everybody go crazy. Like, whoa, hold on, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? They'll go insane. The people in Congress right now, 20, 30 years ago, are not the same as you see today. All the people who sit in the so-called Congress and they be signing all these bills into law and all these different things, they're all bought and paid for. So they're not here for bipartisan, like they say, Republicans versus Democrats, and if the Republicans are going for something that goes against the Americans, the Democrats are going to step in and make it, nullify it, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening anymore, because they're all working on the same team, and now they're openly coming out and showing you, yes, we are working on as the same team. Okay, the Supreme Court works with the executive branch, and they work with the judicial branch. They all three work together. There's no longer checks and balances where, okay, the executive branch is out of control, so the judicial or the legislative is going to come in and be like, nah, this is not going to work. No, they're all working together. The triad, so to speak. Okay, executive, judicial, legislative, they're all working together against the American people. Okay, so that's why you're seeing all these things happening. They're openly doing it in front of you, and nobody's batting an eye. Nobody feels threatened. Nobody's really raising hell like they're really supposed to. And very soon, you're going to start seeing a lot more inside jobs so they can come after people's guns. What you see out there in Texas right now is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, the whole flooding situation, you're going to see them collapsing the dams. Once the dams start collapsing, that's all part of the infrastructure being taken down. This is all part of the plan. Okay, when you read Agenda 21, when you read Agenda 2030, all these things is part of what they've planned to do, which is to make you basically have nothing and, like they say, be happy. Okay, previously, years ago, decades ago, they'll do something known as eminent domain. Right now, eminent domain has been masked in a sense of disasters because they control the weather. So if they can just use the weather to clear off the land, right, by using either fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, or floods, hey, you got what you're looking for. A lot of these people who have the lands that they're actually trying to steal from the people, they don't even have insurance to cover their homes and all that. So you're losing all these things. The government is saying, we're going to buy you out. But then buying you out means what? Go find a concentration camp somewhere and sit there and wait? Go to Alligator Alcatraz and just chill there for a little bit while you're battling freaking elephant-sized mosquitoes? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy shit. You know, but we've been saying this is going to happen. This is just the beginning stages, right? You've seen all these things. This is just like the siege of Jerusalem. You're starting to see the troops, the military, the centurions starting to round the cities little by little. I saw the Elder Atazu, he did a lesson a couple of days ago going into the militarization of the cities. All right, the police is being militarized, and that's all being done by design. It's to desensitize you to seeing your police officers in the trains at past a certain time, right? They're going to start giving you curfews in these major cities, okay? And then you're going to start seeing a lot more of them posting a lot of violence that Jake is going to be doing. They always be doing violent shit. If you go to Chirac and all that, but now they're going to make it, they're going to, what's the word? They're going to hype it up, right? And that's going to cause a reaction in people's minds so that they can accept whatever order is going to come out of that. All right, I got a quick precept and I'm going to pass it. This is a book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 18. It says, "For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Isn't that what you're seeing now? People's homes are being destroyed with this so-called flooding that's going on in Texas. And here it is, there's a flooding going on in Texas, just like what was going on in Louisiana back in 2004 with Katrina. You're having things like that happening, but why is the reaction not like how it was back in Katrina? Because that was a big deal. The federal government got to step in, and FEMA was this. And where they at? Where's all the outcry at? Where's it at? Because they don't want you to have an outcry. Those lands that are being purged right now with flooding is the same lands that's being used to build up these stupid ass AI factories that they're trying to build. When you really look at the maps and how it's all being set up, it's like, how is this all happening? Is this coincidence? You know, a year ago, you had this whole LA fires and all that was happening, right? Or it was beginning of this year, I think. Yeah, shit, not too long ago. It was just the beginning of this year, right? And they were preparing it for what? Smart LA, the smart cities and so on and so forth. So the agenda is there. Once you start putting the pieces together, these events don't become random events. They become step-by-step events. Now you're starting to see the steps that they've taken. Don't be surprised when soon the farms get hit with all kinds of different disasters, and that's going to affect your economy directly. Okay? So you got the tariffs going on. They're saying that the EU is getting ready to brace themselves for an impact that's going to happen when Trump's tariffs hit their places too. Okay? So how is this going to affect the global economy? How is it going to affect the American economy? How is it affecting everyone's lives? This is the most important thing. A few days ago, all right, I'm just going into different things that's going on to build it up, right? A few days ago, you had there's some news coming out in India that they say that there's an outbreak of Nipah virus, okay? And they just did a tabletop exercise, and in that exercise, it was just like the Event 201 exercise they did before the CV. In this exercise, they talk about a virus that spawns out of India and it causes a fucking global pandemic. So we're already getting those stages. Everything is being set in stone, man. Okay, the Hudat, they've already finalized their One Accord treaty. So at this point, anytime there's any perceived threat of a outbreak, they could just declare a public health emergency of international concern, and that's it. That's all they need to do. And at that point, you're going to see different things, right? They enacted the War Powers Act not too long ago. Now it's just been consolidated into this one thing that the executive branch has, which the president basically becomes a dictator, like you've been saying, Bakar, right? So they already have these things set in stone, ready to go, man. They've already done things to circumvent the Constitution. So in the time of martial law, you ain't gonna have something to lean on and say, "Oh, my constitutional rights, oh, my Second Amendment rights." No. Okay, and this is the build up to it. All right, but it says for the Second Ezra 15 and 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. And when you notice, all this ICE raids is not happening in the suburbs, it's not happening in like the Amish country and shit. No, it's happening in the cities, the major cities where Jake is at. Okay, you got the whole migrant situation. Those sanctuary cities was mostly inner cities, man. Okay, New York City, they got Texas, they got all kinds of different places, man. You know, and hey, Esau about to roll. It says what? The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. That's all a chaotic scene, bro. That is a chaotic scene, man. All right, and Americans are not used to that. Okay, but they're desensitizing you by showing you these little things here and there on social media. Eventually, they're gonna roll. All right, you're gonna see. You're not just gonna see ICE niggas running around here. Nah. That's just a smoke screen. You're gonna be seeing Gurkha troops. You're gonna see UN troops. You're gonna see niggas coming in here with no form of English in their background. They don't speak no English. They just coming in here to mow and to, you know what? I'm not even gonna use. Yeah, that's it. All right, but you got it, bro.
That's it. That's it.
So this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16 and 1, and it reads, "Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia."
Yeah, because see, what the world's about to find out is the things that were written in this book are very real, right? And you know what? You got a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, that's a fictional book and yada yada. That's fine. But guess what? When all hell breaks loose, right? Pursuant to matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Isaiah 33 and 6. But when the Lord grants us that stability, it's gonna be because of the words that are written in here. You got it? Okay, cool, beautiful. So you're gonna have people say, "Oh yeah, that's a fictional book. That's there. I don't believe that." Okay, that's fine. You're gonna be bugging out in that time, and anytime you keep asking, "Yo, how are you so calm? Yo, how is it that your shit is? How do you always know where to go?" We're gonna keep pointing back to that same fictional book, and eventually they're gonna realize, yo, like Squidward. It always comes back to Squidward. He had no option but to come back to that same clam, that shell that he made fun of. And you're gonna have these atheists and these non-believers, and they have no choice but to come back and now start asking questions. Because the Spirit told us to make a right. They said, nah, I don't believe that, I'm gonna make a left. They came back with half their ass cheeks torn off because a wild gorilla found them in the woods and shit. You know, they get their hair all messed up, got patches over here and shit, beard ripped out, you know, black eyes and shit, and they looking like SpongeBob when the sea.
They ran into Harambe. They ran into Harambe.
They ran into Harambe. That's right. Or Harambe ran into them. But anyway, like that episode of SpongeBob when the sea bear came again. Once again, he came after Squidward. They told his ass. You remember where they were like, you gotta draw a circle around you, or the sea bear is going to attack your ass. And if you wear they said if you wear a whatever that Mara whatever hat, you know, and you start playing this certain song, and so what he was doing was what he was doing was he was basically trying to provoke them, that, right? So he's out here like, oh, you mean like this? I'm sorry about shot. He goes and gets the guitar. He starts playing that shit. He dresses in that attire. He's dumping around doing stupid shit, and he's like, oh, like this? They're like, no. Then the fucking bear turns the hat upside down. They're like that. This guy's ass fucked up. Time and time again. Now he's trying to crawl. Every time he's trying to crawl to the circle, the bear comes and drags him and beats his ass. Right? So that's what these people are going to be looking like when they make that left turn and they come back. And now they're going to be crawling back, trying to come back to hear what we have to say. And we're going to tell you, there ain't no space in this circle, buddy. Go find your Hebrew niggas and your atheistic ways. Go call on those gods to save you. That's gonna count for you so-called Christians too. Go call on Jesus Christ to save you when these troops are having their way with you. You know, when they bring the shredder.
I got a quick preset, but Shalama, you can go first.
I was just gonna say real quick, just to add to your point. It's written up in Amos 8:11. You know, in the latter parts that what they shall wander to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, but shall not find it. It never said anything about the prophets seeking to and fro. It talked about those that had to hear the word that didn't want to listen. That they were the ones that were seeking to and fro. Why? Because they eventually realized that we were wrong, we were incorrect. It's written up in Wisdom of Solomon 5th chapter.
Yeah, the shredder gonna be after them. So that's why they're gonna need to flee.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a book of Amos chapter 5 and verse 19. It says, "And as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him." In other words, in that day or in that time period, you're not gonna have a sense of escape. You know how in America people they take life for granted because they have tons of options. And that's all because of commercializing and all these corporations. They give you options of basically the same exact thing, right? So people are conditioned to expect some form of option. But when you're cornered and you are in dire straits and there are no options, what do you really do? When you've never been presented with this kind of situation, what are you going to do, right? You're going to call upon something that seems otherworldly to you, like God, oh Jesus. Like people are going to be calling on those kind of names, but there's no power in those names. There's no power in God and Jesus Christ, because witches, you could tell a witch, in the name of Jesus, repent, and the witch going to turn up even more on your ass, and she going to say, I've heard that many times. Shit, it strengthens me. Shit, you know. So that you're not going to do nothing if you don't have the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which ties in perfectly with Isaiah 33:6. You have to have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in order to be stable in these times, man. You know, and I believe, Shalomah, you got that on deck, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's the times that this is why the Lord sent us out here. Ultimately, without the direction and the compass, which is the scriptures, and the understanding of the scriptures, right? You're gonna be screwed. And majority of Americans, I'm telling you, I'll say 95% of Americans, even 98% of Americans have no idea what's coming. They have no idea. In terms of biblical prophecy, the order of prophecy, all these different things. Most of the things that's going on, only the prophets really understand the inner workings of it. Okay, that's why we're able to tell you these things years in advance. And then now all of a sudden, when they start playing out, people are like, "Oh my God!" Like they acting all brand new, like we never said it. We've been telling you all these things was gonna happen. Okay, the preparation, the mark of the beast, the MOT, all that. We've been telling you all these things, man. Fighting against each other, war against each other, people beating each other, governments coming against you. We were telling you these things was gonna happen, man. Okay? And people looked at us like, well, oh, you guys are conspiracy nuts. Really? All right, cool. It says here, verse 5, it says, "Shall not the day of the Lord Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it?" Meaning you're not gonna have any form of a glimpse of light or joy or hope. All right? That when something is gloom or the time is gloomy, there is no sense of hope, man. There is no sense of escape, right? A reprieve, so to speak. It's just gloomy. Like they say, we live in the dark days. Yeah, like it's not just like physical darkness, but actually like a feeling, like a darkness. Like damn, like we in some dark times, bro. You gonna have niggas, regular niggas going, man, we in some dark times, man. I never seen no shit like this before, man. Like yo, chicks getting raped left and right, people starving, people killing each other, people eating each other. I seen some lady, bro. She was out here like dogging her own baby out, man. Like I seen that shit on the side of the street, bro. Like yo, I seen shit, man. People gonna be traumatized. You know, women are not gonna want to go out. You know, like all that social media bullshit. You think you're a social media celebrity? You out here showing people your morning routine. Like who gives a fuck about your morning routine? You're not even that important. Like bitches wake up and talk about this is what I do in the morning. Who the fuck cares? Who know? You're not even known, bro. Who knows you? Like you know what I'm saying? It's so insignificant, these people. And it's so annoying too. You know, and you got dumbass people that actually spend minutes to watch this shit. You ain't got nothing better to do with your life? That's what you gonna do. The first thing you do is to pick up your phone and just start watching bitches tell you about their day? Really? And they got no skills, nothing. No, nothing coming. They got nothing, bro. A lot of these chicks got no qualities to them. Nothing. That's why they expose themselves on social media, and to them that's quality. Right? It says what? It says, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Right? So in other words, the Lord is not interested in your stupid religious activities and all this dumb shit. All right? Oh, we're gonna all come together and go to church, especially the black people, the blacks and Latinos, man. We all gonna come together. Let's go sit in the church. Let's come together and pray. We pray to God. You know, things are not good the way things are going. America's going down. We need to pray to God to help us. Fuck out of here, man. You got it, bro.
Yeah, I heard one of them say that you know, when you start to understand, you know, that the universe is God, that allows her to love the universe and love everyone. You weren't created to love everyone. If that was the case, we'd be living in a utopia already. There would be no murder. There would be none of that. That exists, all right? Because you have enemies. There are people who, as the scriptures say, it's in their spirit to have a perpetual hatred towards you. The hell are you talking about? Love everyone, you know? But the real act of love we're doing is what we're doing right now, and that's for our people. You got it, bro. Oh, and I think you said you had a point too, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, bring out your point so you don't forget it.
I was going to say, regarding what Aharon mentioned about people calling upon those names, but to show you that there's no power in those names, when you watch like those movies like Exorcist or whatever, like sometimes horror movies, sometimes you have a Christian person, they'll call on the name Jesus Christ, and what, the demon will still attack you. But when you read the scriptures, what? When they called upon the name of Yahushua, when the demons saw Yahushua, stopped immediately. There was no, continuing like, okay, you know, like, Jesus Christ, and it's like, Jesus Christ, and it keeps coming in. No. So it shows you that even in the movies and the directors know there's no power in that name. That's what they use it as a joke. But with Yahushua, them demons immediately stop. They're not, okay, let me stop, chill out, back on fire.
And it's with a presence too, like you said. Because like in a Green Lantern, right? You can have the ring, but it's not gonna work unless, because even when in the original movie with the actor from Deadpool, got his name, Ryan Reynolds. In that original movie, he had the ring and he had the lantern, but it wasn't working. It was just like a regular lantern. It wasn't until he like got into the spirit of it that it actually charged the ring and then really powered him up and shit. So, like similar to the situation in the Book of Acts, you know, you had those vagabond Jews which tried to do what the apostles did, but it ended up backfiring on them. So the name of the Lord, as it says, is dreadful amongst the heathen. Well, the Lord is going to start looking at you, some of you Israelites, as heathen, to where the name of the Lord is going to be a curse onto you. And you're going to call on it, seeing the men of the Lord call on it, expecting that outcome, and that the negative of it happens to you. You know, as where the men of the Lord call upon it, and then deliverance comes, you call upon it, and chaos comes. The man of the Lord is in danger, he calls upon the name of the Lord, boom, he's teleported out of there. You call upon the name of the Lord, and this spawns hyenas and lions next to you and shit. Now you wondering, oh shit, what's going on? Yo, chat, what do we do here? Chat getting fucked up just like you. Got it, bro.
Time for now, he gonna get caught up.
Oh hell yeah, he is.
Speed. You better hope you a fast motherfucker, because you're gonna be running from all types of danger, man.
Hell yeah.
Bears, lions, leopards, you know, other men.
Hmm?
But just to land back off your point, it's like the scripture says that my word is like a hammer, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's how it's phrased.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that breaketh the rock. But basically, this word is like a weapon, like Thor's hammer,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody can pick up Thor's hammer.
Right.
You know, Thor's hammer is a dangerous weapon. But if it falls on you, that hammer gonna kill you. You know, or if it's in the hands of you can't even pick it up. You can't even get it off the ground to wield it. So it's right there in front of you. But what good is it to you?
Right.
Because you're not chosen. Lord's will, we're chosen. But I wanted to, what I mentioned earlier, I wanted to go back to the point Aharon had made about like social media and, you know, them farming attention pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's all about gain. People really think that gain is godliness. People really think that for you to have attention, followers, clout, all of those things, they're able to monetize it now. So it allows you to be even more vain in your pursuit of money, right? So I have this right here, 1 Timothy 6:6. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Right. So for you to have a mindset of being grateful for what you have,
That's something that's lost on this generation. They always want more.
Right.
And they say that comparison is the thief of joy. Because when you constantly looking at the next man and what they have going on, you don't even realize the blessings that you got.
Right.
When you look at the next man, you see on social media, you just look at the surface level of what they have. This person might have all types of problems and be suicidal, you know, or be ready to kill himself, or just be in a bad spot. But on social media, everything's all good and they all smile.
Mhm.
But that's what vanity is. It's something that's inherently empty. And
Just a quick point to what you just said. Some of it is coming out because, like, to your point, B. Simone, she would be seen as a influencer online, but what she came out a couple of weeks ago saying he can't shop at certain spots.
Oh, right.
So just to answer,
yeah, so there you have it. I mean, and she was at one point shitting on men that don't make a lot of money. I can't get with a nigga that has a 9 to 5. I think she was talking to Nick Cannon or one of these other fools. And he was like, but why? He was like, oh, I just can't do that. And now I have to shop at H&M.
Mhm.
Like, that's the worst thing ever.
Bruh.
See, you Americanized Jakes, man. You don't had it good for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Even you Jakes, you think that the hood out here is tough? Go to Haiti. Go to these South American slums. Go to the South Central Caribbean slums, man. These other parts of the world, man. You see? Now, don't get me wrong, it's fucked up in America, but at the same time, you have been able to live off of the government and have that benefit of Egypt. Just like when Jake got delivered from Egypt, they were worried about all of them leeks and things we had in Egypt, the garlic and that fried chicken from Popeyes, man. That's what I'm missing. Instead of looking at the Lord, but I got a couple more here. It says, 1 Timothy 6:7, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. So ultimately, all that you do throughout your life, at the end of it, that's why Solomon said it's vanity of vanities, man. Everything that you have, eventually you have to go back to the spirit realm. You see? And in this time, in these last days, it's gonna come to the point where, yeah, that's the time for you. It's a chick. There you go. But hey, man, you have gained all of these things, but for what? And that's what happens when you just focus on gain and you don't have any actual fulfillment in life, man. You don't have any sense of right from wrong. But all your whole life is about continuously gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining. And then you have all this shit, but you're empty inside. See? So we can't take anything with us. That's why we have the mindset of storing our treasures in heaven, man.
And the scripture said, I think Yahweh Shai said it, what shall a man gain if he gained the whole world and lose his soul?
Right. And it's almost like a cliche at this point, but it still rings true nonetheless. And a couple more, it says, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. You tell these women, well, listen, you got a roof over your head, you got some food, you got clothes on, what's the matter? No, I need more. You're not giving enough. I need the Louis and the this and the that. Sergio Tacchini, all this vanity, man. And that's why Jake is always broke. Because y'all focus on the wrong things, man. You could use that money to start up a business and actually have cash flow coming in and better yourself and better your situation. You know, spend it on some healthy food for you to have your health. But no, you want all just vanity. But then you go into the doctor left and right. You know, your health is in disorder, but you got Louis on. You know, you got stomach cancer, but you got Prada. You pulling up in the Benz, but you have diabetes. Like, all vanity, man. You're miserable. See? And
you ask them, like, why did they invent the purse and the back and stuff? Oh, Lord. Why did they invent a bag, right? The bag that they be wearing, the little name brand and shit. Yeah. The fuck is that shit? Anyway, why did they invent that? When people thought, hey, you know what? Women don't have pockets in their dresses most of the time. They need something to put their stuff in. That's the word purse is in the scriptures. All right. Because you hold things in it. So why does it matter if it's this name brand or if it's just a no name brand? The purpose of having a bag is so you can put stuff in it. So can you put stuff in it? Yeah. Can you hold your wallet? Can you hold your phone? Can you hold your stuff in it? Yeah. So now why does it matter? What difference does having a name brand purse do than not having one? The only benefit that they get is that they can go around and look good. So you mean to tell me that we got to pay for electricity, we got to pay utilities, we got to pay for groceries, we got to pay for all these things that actually have importance in your life? Because if you don't eat, how are you going to live? If you don't pay rent, where are you going to sleep? But you want to sacrifice that because for the few minutes that you outside, you want people to look at you like, oh wow, she got the, and nobody even cares nowadays.
Yeah.
If a chick is walking, I guarantee you, if a chick is walking by, there's nobody, no dude is looking at her like, oh, you saw that bag on that? Nobody gives a damn what kind of bag you have on. I'll tell you this right now, you could come out here with the cheapest clothing. Shit, even have freaking a hole in your jeans, and you a fine chick over there. Dudes don't care what bag you got. They don't give a damn about any of that. They're coming for you. You know, so you really think about it, and that goes to show you. That's how the Lord says that logical reasoning has been. They weren't given as much of that as men. Let's just put it like that. All right, because when you try to think like how they think, you're gonna mess up your head. Because the shit that makes sense to them, it doesn't make sense at all. It only makes sense to them. You know,
It's all in their mind.
Yep.
It's all within your fucked up head. Illusions that Esau put it, and then that shit has all been exposed since the tariffs. That it's made in China and they making it for pennies on the dollar, and they just coming over here because you niggas are stupid. Oh, I need that. That's all them mind fucking you, man.
Say something. Esau, which I noticed from shopping down at Canal Street when I sell product wholesale, they'll go to Canal Street and get the fake joint, but because you see Esau with it, you think it's real. They pay cheap. When you go on to break your whole pocket, your man's pocket, you're not even paying your rent to buy the real thing. When they're not even buying the real thing, you buying the real thing to show the world you got the money for it. When Esau buying that stuff, and y'all just automatically assuming that it's real and it's expensive, they fooled you. All right, it's called the saying, tricks you out the street. I mean, tricks you out your off the block. Like they made you come up off of your hustle, like whatever money you was making, to put towards something that ain't even worth it. Because 9 times out of 10, when you got that pocketbook, it's full of nothing inside it. You ever check out what's going on inside a woman's pocketbook? Shit that you don't even need that. Like, yo, you got this big ass bag. You can't even help me with the groceries because your bag, you carrying a bag full of nothing.
Yeah, to fill it with more vanity. Sure, so.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, to Bond's point. Yeah, one time I went in my mother's bag looking for a phone, and yo, when I went, I'm like, a whole bunch of just shit in there, and it's not just that bag. She has like 10 others, probably like close to 20, and it's all the same shit. It has like a bunch of receipts, a bunch of paper, a bunch of money. I'm like, yo, like, how are you this organized? Now, mind you, I'm telling you, if I go tell her something, and this is not the first time I had it from experience, or my father says something, she's gonna complain like, oh, you and your followers got God promised them. But it's like, yo, how are you that disorganized? Then she said, oh, I can never find anything. Look at your bag. That really shows you the mindset of a person. Like, yo, if you have that like that, how much more other stuff as well? It's like that shouldn't be like that. Like, even I had to the other day how to organize my bag and take out certain things that's not supposed to be in there. Because just like after a while you become lazy and oh, let me just throw this here, let me just throw this there. Then it's like later on, oh, where is this? And it's like, you're an adult. Like, okay, ladies, you want to sit there and say you're strong and independent, right? Well, it's time to act like a fucking adult. Move like an adult. This is what adults do. Be responsible. Be fucking organized. Salakia. But seriously, you want to be an adult, right? Be a fucking adult and act responsible. Be organized. Have things organized. Sometimes you watch, because my mother will watch it, like little women, they have like YouTube channels, they have like things labeled. Or be like that. Have shit labeled. No, you want to have shit here, there. Then come and ask me where shit. Don't
You better not be watching these videos.
But even if I done told her anyway, shit.
Gotta keep it real. On his mother. Howard Shah told his mother, woman, what have I to do with thee? You know, sometimes you gotta keep it real. You respect and you honor them, of course, but Hey, at the end of the day, bro, like if she's bugging, you might say, "Hey, mom, listen, have let's have a conversation about this."
I wonder if she beat him when he was a kid. Question for him.
Yeah, I tell you, okay.
Yeah, they all right. Yeah, right.
Precept real quick. Shalomar, you gotta ease up exposing your mom like that, man. You can't be doing that shit. Cooking your mother left and right. God damn. But it's needful because ultimately, she and just like all the other women or most women in our nation, they all are the curses are befalling them. That's another sign, right? That we are the Israelites, right? Even just our daily lives and the people that we live with. All right, they live according to the ways that the Lord said they would be living in these last days, right? Now, I got a quick precept. There's a book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 16, going back to the point Aishar made about, and Bakar made about women and how vain they are in today's society. You know, they got all these bags and all these different things. When you actually look at the predominantly the women that actually push that type of bullshit is mostly the so-called black women. Okay, the most, the least desired, most unwanted woman. All right, they do the most unwanting shit. Okay, and that's all biblical prophecy. All right, there's a book of Isaiah chapter 3 verse 16 says, "Moreover, the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet." And why is that? Because of all the bullshit vanity that surrounded them. All right, they want to buy Prada bags and all these different things, right? Mad expensive ass shit. They call it name brand, like Bakar said, right? Which is all propaganda. Okay, what is name brand? Name brand is just something that's made up by somebody. He has the resources and the ability to create a desire for a product that he's trying to sell. Okay, just go tell celebrities or whoever, hey, look, I need you to go wear that Prada bag and present it like it's some new shit that everybody needs to have, right? And if you have it, then it shows your social status, your high status in this society. Okay, so people bitches see that shit. Okay, Kardashian got this bag. Oh, I want to look like her. All this body dysphoria, all this crazy shit that's going on, making lip injections, breast injections, breast implants, butt implants, all kinds of different nasty shit. Okay, deforming your natural beauty to look like an artificial chick that you never meet in your life just because you see it on your Black Mirror. That's crazy work. All right, what kind of mind do you have to have in order to deform your whole body just because you want to look like somebody who you see on TV? That's crazy. Take your ass to the fucking gym and work out, bitch. The fuck? What's wrong with you women out there, man? You know? But anyway, it says what? And because it says wanton eyes, right? When you go into the word wanton, all right, it says here, it says resistant to control, willful. Isn't that what these women, they behave like? That's what the apostle calls them hyenas, man. All right, brothers call them big back hyenas and shit. They're fucking annoying as hell, man. They got just like a lion who see a hyena and want to take their head off. That's how we feel about these so-called black women. They're unreasonable, they're resistant to control, and they're willful. Okay, it says lacking or deficient. Okay, it says really lacking what? Direction, lacking a man's authority and control. All right, to guide you, to anchor you. That's why they're all bugged down, out of control, man. All right, they need to be controlled and they will be controlled. Okay, talking about I don't need no man. Somebody going around asking these women, are men important in society? No, we don't need no men in society. Bitch. These stupid ass women, bro. Silly women. It says what? It says literally to pull or to draw, right? It says unpulled, right? Especially of sexual indulgence, inhumane, merciless. Okay. It says one who is ill behaved. All right. That's what you see with the so-called black women. They are ill behaved. All right. That's why they're the least desired women on the planet Earth. Okay. Some of them got it down pat, which is good, but for the most part, the black woman symbolizes chaos, man. That's why men don't want to be around that type of energy, bro. It's just a whole bunch of toxicity, bullshit that don't make no sense. Make a man's blood pressure go mad high. You notice a lot of men who are married to black women, their eyes are always bloodshot red because of the stress. Okay, they're so stressed out. Niggas always want to be at work because he don't want to be home. You know what I'm saying? If he comes home, it's over with. You call it, yo, bro, we out to get some food. Nah, the wife is home today, bro. Damn, the fuck you mean the wife is home today? So what? She ain't coming with us. Let her stay home. You know what I'm saying? But it's that toxic bullshit that men have to deal with. Okay, and it's all going to be turned upside down in the kingdom, man. All right. It says here.
Hey, real quick, so just to back up your point, right? Because you got some, some people, they think that when we say that, we just making shit up. We just like to say random shit about women. I saw this video yesterday, right? And you tell me how much sense this makes. Woman tweaking out her car because a man looked at her. See if I could get it nice and good on here.
Somehow we've reached the point in time where women are now posting mental breakdown videos in their car, screaming and crying because they made eye contact with a man.
Hold up. Yeah, Slock, let me pull it back. I don't know what. There we go.
Somehow we've reached the point in time where women are now posting mental breakdown videos in their car, screaming and crying because they made eye contact with a man.
The anger I get from making eye contact with a man is like so ridiculous sometimes. Look at the hives I just got. Literally just from making eye contact with a man. I literally feel so disgusted. I feel like don't look at me!
So this shit, if this is normal, then we're just the crazy ones, right? So when brothers say like, yo, they're bugging, they're crazy, like it's not, we're not making shit up. Like this is real. Like you got a woman in her car tweaking because a man made eye contact with her in the gym. So she's bugging out. Don't look at me. Hey, go ahead, bro.
Hey, the Most High gonna put all these demons to death, man. Gonna burn them up, bro. It's annoying, bro. You got a backhand. Hey, soon, baseball bats are gonna be a thing. Watch, it's gonna be a thing, bro. People like that, you just bash the fuck out of her and just keep it moving. Some GTA shit, just keep it moving. GTA 6 is coming out soon, right? That's what they say. It's gonna be GTA in real life. Shit. All right, so continue. It says, verse 17, Isaiah 3 and 17. Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord Yahweh will discover their secret parts, right? So in other words, he's gonna make your ass bald. All right, your hair falling out, you can't grow no hair, you got that little onion tip at the back of your head and shit. You know what I'm saying? But you still being annoying. Why? Why you got all these deficiencies and you still proud? Like, damn. So the Lord takes away your crown and you still proud. Why? Crazy work. It says, in that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round tires like the moon, right? In other words, the things that makes you beautiful, right? Because when you look at the women in the ancient world, they used to have these things that they put around their waist from birth. As they grow, it shapes their body, and it looks so good when they walk. You see that thing moving left or man. I'm telling you, they were nice, shorter, nice and feminine. Why wouldn't you want to be that? It's a beautiful thing for a man to walk in and he see a nice smelling woman. She look good in her element as a woman. It makes a man want to do things for you. You see what I'm saying? Also want to do things to you, right? But you got all these fucking brolic ass hyenas and shit want to always square up with a man, getting all crazy. That's a turnoff. And then turn around and say, oh, why, where are all the good men at? No, the good men are going for the good women. The good men don't want no bad bitches. We don't want that shit, bro. We don't want that shit. I don't know who told you this is what you should be, right? You run around calling yourself a bad bitch and think that a good man want to be with that. What type of crazy ass mindset is that, right? There's a virus and a cancer that's going to be eradicated very soon. RFK talking about make America healthy again. Eliminate these hoes. That will make America very healthy. Trust me. The mental health of men will improve significantly if they grab all these hyenas and throw them in Alcatraz over there, in the fucking alligator Alcatraz. That's where they got to go. You want to be all brolic and be all strong and masculine and be independent and be all about, oh, I could do all by myself. Go to alligator Alcatraz and battle them elephant-sized mosquitoes out there. Then we could really see what you about. At that point, you gain my respect, bitch. Continuing verse 18, it says, verse 19, it says, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, right? The earrings, the bracelets, the veils, right? All these different things the Lord had these women have on them, right? You go to the east right now. The Persian women, you see how they dress? They got the chains around their hands, the bracelets around their waist and all that shit. And then when they move, you see the waistline be moving and shit. That shit is nice, man. You know what I'm saying? They all covered up, so you could use your imagination a little bit. Like, damn, like sure you look good. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could use your imagination. But over here they put everything out there and it's disgusting too. You'd be like, oh, why her ass out like this shit is disgusting. Why you showing that shit, bro? Like, look like a freaking ass of a baboon, bro. Stop doing that shit, man. It's disgusting, bro. It's annoying. You know what I'm saying? We cooking with grease today. Verse 20, it says, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, right? All, again, the enhancements of beauty, right? It says the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, right? Going into what? The bags, the purses, right? That's what we're talking about, going into the vanity. Okay? Going into the vanity, you got all these things, you amass all this bullshit on you, and you're not even valuable. All this assets of value, but you and yet it doesn't even make you beautiful. It's like dressing up a pig. It's still gonna be a pig, bro. It don't change the fucking pig from being a pig. You know what I'm saying? That's how these so-called black women behave. They behave like baboons and hyenas and pigs at the same time. Detestable. Fucking vulture looking ass. No hair, just bald ass neck, walking around here talking about you some bad bitch. Bro. Anyway, it says the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils, right? And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. Okay? And it's a known thing that you so-called women smell really, really bad, bro. And it's not even just down there. Some of you women got bad breath. Some of you women don't even know how to shower. You don't know how to take care of yourselves. Okay? You don't even use the proper products to clean yourself, to sanitize yourselves, right? Because all these chemicals you're putting on yourselves, thinking you some bad bitch. You got makeup on, your face is always breaking out, right? All these chemicals, it's not good for you. The product that you put in your hair is making your hair even worse. It's killing your hair follicles. Okay? You got the clothing that you wear, the underwear that you wear, these spandexes that you wear. They got nanoparticles in them. Okay? Polyester. Okay? All these different things. It's not good for your pH balance. All these different things is all fucking you up. But are they gonna sit down and do research and study up on these things and actually, do the proper things to actually keep themselves in shape and be healthy? Just focus on that. Now, don't even worry about look. Just be healthy for once. That's it. They can't even do that. But yet they want to run around talk about they the women of the earth. Continue, and I got you, Ashir. I'm just finish this off real fast. It says, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness. That's when your hair is falling out. You got to go buy a wig made out of China, made out of horse hair and dead people's hair. Okay. It says, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. Okay, so the Lord is literally stripping away all your beauty, and He's putting shame upon you, man. All right, that's why Isaiah 4:1 is gonna come. A lot of you women are gonna get that boot right to your face, man. All right, you're gonna get a military boot to your face, or you're gonna get a man of the Lord's boot right to your face, man. We don't want you. All right, stay your ass over there somewhere. Go create that chaos in front of Tyrone, and Tyrone gonna slap the shit out of you. Don't come over here with that shit. All right, you got it, bro.
A good point. Yeah, I was going to say, just in case for anybody that may be new watching, whether it be a man or a woman, when the brother Aharon is talking about, putting, essentially sending women or having women go to Alcatraz for a concentration camp, that may sound very harsh and things like that. Oh my God, he hates women. But you have to understand, it's about eliminating a cancer that's in the earth. And primarily so-called black women, because it's easy to get on you. Why? Because of the stuff that you post on social media. Because primarily women that post a lot of nonsensical stuff on social media, which I think I've seen like various things like women twerking at like a restaurant, jumping up on the tables and things like that. You have like Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, who pretty much promote a certain image of how black women are supposed to, well, let me not say supposed to, but act. And that is essentially a cancer in the problem because what? You're going to see the younger generation see that, and then what? They're going to get influenced by that and think that that's a good thing. And even to a degree, you even have some of the older generation being influenced by the likes of a Cardi B or a Meg Thee Stallion. And it's just propagating, multiplying a cancer that's in the earth that you have women that are acting a way that they're not supposed to act at all. And then you just have where men are saying, yo, we don't like this. Men are literally coming and telling women, hey, we don't like this kind of behavior. We don't like you doing this. We don't like you dressing like this. We'd like you to be more like this. Women will say, we want to understand men. And when men are telling you exactly what they want, it's like it went in one ear and out the other. So it's like, what do you do with that? What do you do with women that are not going to listen when you tell them? Because right, we've had women come up sometimes and we'll tell them, hey, women are supposed to dress a certain way and things like that. They'll say, oh, well, where's that in the Bible? Or I could dress how I want. If they're not going to listen, think about it. What do you do with that at that point? It's in the law. Hey, if you have a child that's disobedient, that doesn't want to listen, hey, you've talked to him, the parents talked to him, what? You got to bring him to the elders and, hey, the child got to be put to death. It's the same thing in this time. You have women that don't want to listen. They want to do what they want to do. I'm independent. I could do my own thing. Okay, fine. Well, you're gonna have to deal with that certain punishment of being put to death. Or like the brother saying, hey, that judgment as far as going to alligator Alcatraz for some concentration camp will be how you get put down because you're a cancer that has to be eliminated. Otherwise, you're just gonna infect everybody, even to a point of women having a certain effect on men as well, making them effeminate. So now, again, that cancer has to be eradicated. It's not about being harsh. It's not hating women. It's really hating the wickedness that you do.
Yeah, and it's not all women. It's it's who it applies to, right? And we ain't gonna be the ones doing it to you. We really just warning you of the judgment the Lord is gonna bring upon you if you continue in that path.
If it don't apply, let it apply. At the end of the day, like we speak in general terms, and what do they have that saying? Hit dogs holler. No, in other words, like something's being said and you feel all offended, then it's you taking it personal because it applies to you. You know, if the shoe fits. I had the rest of this just to bring it all together. 1 Timothy 6:9. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. But people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. So that means what? Your whole life purpose, the bag. You idolize Floyd Mayweather. You idolize LeBron James. You idolize these black bootleg clowns. Yeah, I'm gonna shit on LeBron, so I know Aaron's happy about that. Fuck LeBron.
I mean, he ain't that bad.
Yeah, all right. Nah, but yeah, you know, just to bring the point home, all of these celebrities they roll out, they put them on the forefront for you to be like, well, that's who I want to be like. But you have to go into the history of the boule and understand what they were meant to be used for. They're meant to say that, look, the acceptable Negro, the acceptable Jake that is rolled out, this is who you should strive to be like, the controlled one, the one that we have the battery in their back. And that's what they were always designed to be. See, you niggas can make it here, right? Because Esau, he hates us, but he still needed us to build up his kingdom. Because it marvels me sometimes, I think, like, why didn't Esau just kill all of us? You know, he had the opportunity to do it, but he just knew that I need them, just like in Babylon. They used the elite of Jacob to build up their kingdom. And this is how Babylon the Great became great, make America great again. How did it become great?
Right.
Through the slavery of the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American. So you want it to be great again, but bringing it back to the scripture, they'll roll these guys out because they want you to have this example of you should be longing to be rich. You should be longing to be like this. This is the ultimate pinnacle of life, to be like Steph Curry or one of these athletes or ball players or musicians, you know, or actors, whatever, you know, that's who they'll roll out. But what does that plunge you into? Many harmful and hurtful ways that leads them to destruction. Because if you're willing to do all of that just for money, you're going to compromise yourself. And when the hour of temptation comes, you're going to get that. You're going to be lined up to get that thing because you want to keep going after that carrot on the stick that Esau hung in front of you. But we know that that's all vanity. The money here is fiat. It's not even backed by gold. Now they're trying to, you know, switch it up, but it's already too late. Just like how they're trying to expose the chemtrails in the sky. Now that they've been poisoning you for decades, oh yeah, by the way, this is what we're doing. Here's the information about it. It didn't say they're going to stop. It said, yo, Lee Zeldin, which is one of the Trump EPA head, he said, we're going to give you information about chemtrails and contrails. What are these things in the sky? You're really not crazy. Turns out you're actually right. But he didn't say we're going to stop doing it. He just said we're going to tell you and admit to you because now they're just rolling it out. Like, yeah, we poisoning you. We hate you, and we're going to be kicking y'all out the country. And if you even disagree with us, even if you are a citizen, you're out of here too. Yep. So what was all this American? You trying to do all this, you have to be obedient to Esau to succeed in this world. They'll try to make you think like, oh, you know, if you just work hard enough and you have enough talent, you can make it to the top. No, that's not how it works. They will actively sabotage you if they know that you're not going to fit into the mold that they have for a so-called Black, Latino, or Native American. And it's happened. That story has played out over and over. Countless stories, man.
Yeah, now you're starting to see reality. So now it's definitely not the time to be proud, right, or prideful in any sense, because you're about to need a whole lot of help, you know, and you're not at the right place for it. Okay, the one that can help us, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is the one that you spent decades making an enemy out of. You know. As a matter of fact, let's also get it's the Isaiah 30. Won't see that go down to Egypt for help, and then we can go back to 2nd Ezra 16 because it covers a lot of the calamities that these prophets saw that will come upon you that you're starting to see now. And why is it so important that we identify this? Is because you'll get out of the delusion that, oh, if we protest hard enough, ICE is going to stop, right? Or if we fight back against these legislations, hard enough, then we'll be able to make a change. No, you won't, because according to biblical prophecy, you don't. The story doesn't go in a way where you make a change. The story goes in a way where chaos continues to get worse and worse and worse, and now you got ICE kicking down your door, grabbing up your family, and you can't do anything about it. Because like Haran said, they're gonna come for people's weapons. That's why they have the Jade Helm exercises and so on. They demonize the thing they want to attack, and then they use that as justification to go for it. Okay, they can stop it, but why would they do that? No, they'll purposely, like, for example, Pearl Harbor. They'll say, "Come and attack us," and we'll make it look like we weren't aware that you were going to do that, and then we're justified to come back against you. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Slakia, to your point that you made about how people think if they essentially protest or whatever, that's gonna change anything. Well, look at the Southern Kingdom. Look at so-called African Americans. They were protesting. They were trying to have civil rights movement and things like that. But what? Do you think that stopped the hatred? Do you think that stopped anything? No. So to your point, history shows you that these people who are in power are not going to stop just because you want protest. They have an idea, they have a plan, and they want to see it through.
And you have that new trend now with they'll show Jake doing the most wildest shit, baby mama situation. They'll interview a YN in the hood, and they'll be like, "Yeah, man, my whole life is to live off of government assistance." And then the caption will say, "The CIA is popping bottles right now." Basically, that was the whole design. They integrated you to destroy you.
Right.
Now you're integrated into Edomite supremacy. Now you rely on us more. We took away your self-sufficiency. We gave you something, and now we're going to take that away too. Now you're stripped bare because you relied on Egypt. You trusted in oppression. And I got one more verse for you.
Okay. And also Matthew 24. Oh, actually, that's the second. But Matthew 24.
1 Timothy 6:10 in NLT, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And some people, craving money, have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. So yeah, the love of money. We all, money is a defense, the scriptures say. You need to make money. Obviously, we're not saying, go live out of a dumpster. But when you desire it to the point, I have to be rich, I have to have a nice car, I have to have a big house or designer this and designer that, I got to be able to go at $500 steakhouses every night, then you are allowing the love of money, which is that root of all evil, that desire to have more, you're allowing it to corrupt you, right? And it says some people having craving money have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. You see guys that they're in the truth, and you're not going to be winning all the time. The Lord, don't get me wrong, the Lord will bless you at times. He'll make sure you're good, but we're not going to have this ridiculous abundance all the time, right? And in Jacob's trouble, the Lord may have it to where the men that have been faithful, they end up getting that anyways. Well, we know that that's what's going to happen.
Right.
But at the end of the day, men that are in the truth, they're like, man, I'm losing. I'm suffering. I got this, I got that. I got evicted. I lost my job. I'm going through problems. And they start blaming the truth for all their problems. And they say, man, if I wasn't in this truth, everybody would love me again. Not realizing that you just in this Edomites world right now, you're just a nigga to them, and you're disposable. And even whether you're in the truth or out the truth, you're gonna suffer. So you might as well suffer for righteousness' sake, man.
Right. That's really seeking evil. If you think that, if I was out the truth, back in the world, they would love me again. Well, why don't they love you now? Because the things they love are evil, and you separated yourself from that, right? So you're really saying you would really be seeking love from the enemies of the Heavenly Father. What would that make you? An enemy of the Heavenly Father. Like they say, like, imagine you in like today they call them the ops, right? You're in a gang and you're trying to seek love from the police or the rival gang or the CIA. What the hell does that make you? That's gonna make you an enemy to they're gonna look at you as a traitor, right? So here it is. We're in the times, man, where people don't know how vulnerable they are. But the Lord is about to show them, man. You're about to find out just really how weak and vulnerable and powerless you are. And you're seeing that now. You know, at the very at most, when these and this we keep going back to ICE because that's like the hot topic right now. But at most, when they start storming up, you know, they're pulling people out of their cars and they're arresting them. What is it that you can really do but just talk? You know, while they put you in cuffs and put you in the back of the car, you can't really do much. And as it starts to escalate more and more, and they start, you know, getting more and more aggressive, people are gonna find out how vulnerable you are because you think that if you talk loud enough, what they're like a black bear, that you're gonna scare them off. What happens when the black bear you confuse it for a brown bear, you know, or a grizzly bear, and then they can look back at you like you thought I was stepping back because I was afraid of you. No, you got me mixed up with the other guy, you know, because then them bears will show you how fast and agile they are. A bear will climb a tree or a fence faster than you can think. You know, let him get on all fours and then see what he's going to do to you. So the Most High is about to show this world what it's like to be humble. What happens when you piss off the creator of the universe? You act like people act like they don't care. I saw a video of this guy. It shows you, man. Jake is they're so gone. He's in a car and I think he's lighting up like a blunt or something like that. And in the he's in the car in his crib. But in the roof of it, there's a bug. It's like a mixture of a praying mantis and a big ass cockroach. So he's here on camera and shit like, yeah. Okay, he sees that shit. He just starts bugging out, you know, screaming like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Literally, that's what it was. You know, he started screaming and going crazy in his car. And it's first off, it's a split second, and number two, it's a tiny ass, like compared to you, it's a very small bug. But something like that scared the living life out of this guy. Something you can literally just punch on your thing and it's dead. And if that will scare you into screaming like a little girl, what do you think the King of Terrors is going to do when he has said openly in the scriptures that it's going to be a time of great terror? That people are going to be so afraid they're going to die over shock of seeing the things that are going to come upon the face of the earth. And people are not prepared. Even if this was the most fit society in all of existence, you still wouldn't be able to do anything against the judgment to come. You know, so how much more for the now where society is like the Lord got you at your guard is at the lowest it's ever been. What oh yeah, you got something.
Oh yeah, now I was just saying concerning the Lord and his judgment on the whole earth, man.
Oh, I see it.
The plagues that he gave Pharaoh to be enough and to not wanting to partake, going against the Most High, right? To take the firstborn sons of all the people of Egypt, all right, the locusts, right? All these plagues that he did in the past, is like lower level compared to where he's saying he's gonna have judgment on the earth when he returns. So that right there, terroristic threat that you shouldn't take lightly, you know, and that goes to all nations, including his own people, because we all gonna be affected by the judgments when the Lord comes back. Because he's judging the whole earth. You know? So with that being said, you know, precept I wanted to bring out was in Revelation 18. And because of the wickedness of all people, man, that they all got a reason to be judged, the Lord said, Revelation chapter 18, starting from 3, says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of our fornication. And so y'all all was partakers in the wickedness of this earth, right? And that the kings of the earth have committed fornication with earth, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of the delicacies. Y'all all gonna have to be judged for that. And the Lord also says, you know, that the dragon told his people to come up out of it, right? Because we all indulging in the delicacies of our wickedness. So everybody got some type of shame on their head to a certain extent, but the men of the Lord, the elect. Because if you did it in the past and you gave it up, that's being reborn again. That's what we're trying to escape, man. Those harsh plagues of the earth that's coming to y'all. Right? I got hell of pain, man. These things that's coming onto the earth. Look at Texas. Either it's man-made or the Lord is still keeping suffering judgment. That's just a tip of the iceberg.
Right? Get that in Isaiah.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord.
Right. And who is that? That's the children of Israel. Why does it say woe to the rebellious children? Because they don't want to hear anything the Lord has to say. Every instruction the Lord gives them, they rebel against it. He tells them, don't do this, and that's exactly what they want to do. That's why the people of the Lord look like the way they do today. Your women wouldn't be suffering these curses if they hadn't rebelled. And your men wouldn't be suffering these curses either if you hadn't rebelled. So woe to the rebellious children, stiff-necked and hard-headed, never want to listen to anything. Go ahead.
But hold on. This one, I'm saying this jokingly. Remember, we're all God's children now, according to Christians.
All right.
It all pertains to everybody now. So y'all all can get it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. How silly of me to get that. Go ahead.
Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
Right. They take counsel, but not of me. So when it comes to because where's the counsel of the Lord? What? By his prophets, right? But what they would believe and what they want to do is not of the Lord. So as these things are coming upon the face of the planet Earth, and the counsel of the Lord says, hey, repent, right? Like you're doing things that are going to mark you as a target when these calamities come upon the face of the earth. Stop doing those things so you're no longer a target. And when these things come, you can be safe. They say, nah, I'm all right. I don't believe that what you're saying is going to happen. So I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. I've been doing it for all these years. Don't come and tell me how to live my life. So they'll take counsel from their friends. They'll take counsel from Esau. They'll take counsel from the TV. They'll take counsel from a freaking witch, you know? But when it comes to the word of the Lord, they won't take counsel there. Look, people are more likely to take counsel from a tarot card reading than from the Bible. And yet they call themselves Christians or a God-fearing country or a nation. If you tell a woman, hey, maybe the way you're dressed is not a good idea, given how bad things have been getting nowadays, people, especially women, are very vulnerable. So be careful, don't leave dressed like that because you might attract the wrong attention. They don't want to hear that because in their mind, you're controlling. I want to wear what I want to wear. Okay, you go in there, something happens to you, and now it's never your fault. It's the person's fault for not controlling themselves. If you go into a hungry lion's den and it starts to tear your ass up, it starts to shred ass, right? Is it the lion's fault or is it your fault for being in there? No, it's the lion's fault for not having self-control. You got it.
That take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with their covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
Yeah, so they cover with a covering of wickedness so they can add sin onto sin. And they block their minds from the righteousness of the Lord so that they can continue and try to alleviate that because your conscience would eat you alive when you do wickedness. But Esau has been able to desensitize that to where now it's not a thing that bothers them anymore. So why does it say woe unto you? Now let's go into 2nd Esdras 16. We can start at the top because that whole chapter is good and it covers the different kinds of calamities. I think it's either 16 or 15. It covers the women not having any helpers, their husbands dying in the wars. It covers the people breaking into other people's houses. It covers the troops that are going to be looking for people in the streets. Got it? All right. Stop here.
2nd Ezra 16 and 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria.
Yeah, so this is basically everybody could get it. Now, Babylon there is prophetic, right? It's referring to this time. Okay, go ahead. And it's referring to America.
Gird up yourself with cloths of sack and hair.
What does that mean? That means prepare yourself. Cloths of sack is sackcloth. All right, and you put that on in the ancient world as a sign of mourning, right? So when they say, when the scriptures say, gird up yourself with sackcloth, it means prepare to mourn. Because the next things that I'm about to say or I'm about to, express onto you is concerning you is not good. All right. Go ahead.
Bewail your children and be sorry.
It's like before you see something very shocking, they always give you that warning. Viewer discretion is advised, or they give you a handkerchief like you're gonna need this. That's basically what Ezra had at the top of that verse. You're gonna need this. Gird up that sack, get that sackcloth because you're gonna need it.
The Gen Z is so soft now. They had to put a disclaimer before rush hour. Like, goddamn,
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. This is we love our buddy cop movies, but this might be offensive to certain audience. Y'all offended by a rush hour, bro? What you gonna do when the judgment drops, man?
Right.
You offended by a movie? Come on, bro.
Yeah, crazy word. Then it's always somebody else's fault. Got it.
For your destruction is at hand.
Yeah, that's why he said gird up with sackcloth, because your destruction is at hand. Meaning now is the time of the judgment. And when he saw that, it was concerning this time that we're living in. So this very time we're living in is the prelude or the intro into the destruction of this place. And that's what you're starting to see around. That's why you're seeing a country in such disarray. Like, it's literally, when you see elections and presidential candidates start, are attacking each other using ad hominem attacks and all of these things, and you see actual political party calling for violence, right? Like they're being told, hey, do you know that your laws and executive orders that you signed have given people leeway to commit crimes and murder in the streets, and you're trying to deflect that and act like it's all good? Guess what? You're at a state where your country is destroyed.
Right? A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back?
Who sent that sword? The Most High. So that sword, it's not like a giant sword is coming from heaven, but that sword represents destruction that the Lord is sending upon this place, and nobody's going to be able to deflect it or to stop it. Go ahead.
A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it?
Same concept. So the Lord is sending destruction, and there's nobody that's going to be able to stop it. So you don't ever hear us saying, teaching you ways you can stop the destruction from coming. You don't ever hear us saying that. You ever came up here and we're trying to explain to you how you can stop the destruction from coming? Hell no. The salvation isn't about stopping destruction. Okay? Salvation is about the Lord delivering you from that destruction.
Yeah, I was gonna mention what you just said. It reminded me of Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. And as the character John Connor is giving like the outro speech of the movie, the entire movie they were trying to prevent, Judgment Day, which is the nukes going off and things like that. But he says at the end of the movie, we weren't meant to prevent Judgment Day. We were meant to survive it.
Oh, exactly. Good.
2nd Ezra 16:4-5. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?
I remember I was telling somebody about the MOTB, right? And I mean, I kept it very light. Like I was explaining, like, yo, how they lock things down during the CV, and you couldn't do X, Y, and Z without it. The MOTB is going to be much worse. And they got scared, right? They got afraid. They're like to the point where they're like, no, stop. Like, please don't say anymore. Like, it's too scary. I don't like hearing scary stuff like that. And then in my head, I was like, yo, the world has become so weak. Like in the I think Ezra said that, right? The earth shall become weaker through age. But I mean, it's become so weak, so weak to the point where words about reality are so scary that people are like, I don't even want to hear it. Like, I can't even stand to listen to the things that are going to come upon the face of the earth. If you can't stand to even hear about the future that's coming for this place, knowing very well that when it happens, you have no choice but to live in it, you're preparing yourself to fail. Because now your mind is actually going to be in a very it's going to be in a total shock. Hearing this is bad enough, but having no clue what's about to happen and being hit with it out of nowhere, and the scripture says a time like never before, people are going to be in a mental shock. Like, I can't believe that just happened in front of me. Like, I can't believe, and then they're going to start melting down, because they're going to wonder in their minds, wait, like, this doesn't make sense. It can't. Like, last week, I just came back from a trip. I was on vacation. I was drinking pina coladas. It was like good. And now it's like my family's dead. People are getting shot. There's screams everywhere. I just can't. I can't. And they just bug out. Now they're in the corner somewhere, you know, just bugging out, shaking their heads, bugging. You know, it can't be real. Stop it. And they're screaming and shit. Bro, get it together, man. But they can't because they're in shock. Because their mind, it wasn't ready for it. That's going to be enough to just take some people out completely. The way they just start, you know, talking to themselves. What's going on? This is crazy. No, it can't be real. No, it's not real. Like, they just start bugging out.
That's when you're gonna get the wisdom of Solomon 17 tree.
Oh, yeah.
See, that whole chapter is going to be like that chapter on steroids, man. Because the Lord did it to Egypt, and that's not even the most hated nation that the Lord hates the most.
Right.
That's Ham. He hates them too. Especially them Egyptians that oppressed us. But you Edomites, you're the most hated. And now it's time for him to get his lick back against his ex-wife, which is the nation of Israel, you know, which is the rest of the nation of Israel that transgressed and betrayed him. You know, imagine you had an opportunity. This woman betrayed you on the highest level on camera, and you have a chance at vengeance. Imagine how much the Lord is going to catch his ex-wife and her lover in the bed and come back and lay down the hammer of judgment on y'all, man. And you think it's going to be sweet? That's why you just had right now in Arizona, somebody died of the plague, man. The Black Death from back in the time of the Renaissance or before the Renaissance.
Yep, Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages. Somebody actually died from the plague, man. And they have been designing and destroying your immune system to where you're going to have those ancient plagues coming back.
Yep.
Philadelphia has nobody to pick up the garbage, man. Because they have an issue with the union and the mayor, whatever. That's all by design. That's what led to the plague initially, because it was poor maintenance and sanitation.
Yep.
You see? So they're going to bring that shit back, especially to them Democrat cities. And who's the ones that lives there the most? Jake. So them plagues are coming.
Oh.
2 Ezra 16:6. May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood?
The answer is no, right? Unless you're Samson or King David. But the average individual, you're not driving away a hungry lion if it pops out on you. Lions are very chill when they're good. They just lay there, you know. But when they're hungry, they go hunting. And if you present yourself to them, they will kill you. Got it?
Oh, Salakia. May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may one quench the fire in stubble?
You can't, right? First off, stubble is the when you harvest and you hit them on the threshing floor, the husk. You know how quick those burn? It's like taking one thin sheet of paper, lighting it on fire, and trying to quench the fire. It is not happening. And this is how the chances of you stopping the destruction that's coming to this place is likened onto you trying to stop paper that's already being burnt. Yeah. Got it?
May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer.
You can't do that unless you can change or bend the laws of physics. You can't do that. Okay, and the arrows were ancient, the bullets of the ancient world. They move very fast. So just like nobody can stop these things from coming, go ahead.
The mighty Salakia, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away?
There you go. So if you want to know why these things are happening, the Most High, the one you call God, Jehovah, Yahweh, he's the one who's sending these plagues, from people dying of starvation to different diseases to even putting the ideas into these world leaders' minds, into Trump's minds, to set these into the judges' minds to agree and pass certain laws. The Most High is putting that into their mind to bring about a certain scenario or situation for judgment upon the earth. You got it?
A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it?
So the Most High is angry right now, and that fire represents his judgment that he's going to bring. And there's nobody that's going to be able to stop the judgment of the Lord. Okay? There's no countering it. There's no stopping it. Go ahead.
He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence?
So just the presence alone of the Lord can grind you down to powder. And guess what? That's going to happen literally when Yahushua comes back. Because when them lasers start zapping people, they're going to disintegrate. Just like that. Gone, 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 gone. Yeah, like World of Worlds. 1 second you're running, the next second is just your clothes in the air. You know? Go ahead.
The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof.
That's an earthquake. Go ahead.
The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep,
That's your tsunamis. Go ahead.
and the waves of it are troubled,
Mhm.
and the fishes thereof also.
Yeah, because look at what's going on in Texas, right? With those floods and all that. And now that's like, we know Esau has the technology to manipulate that, but it's still elements, right? Esau's not creating elements, he's just manipulating elements. And those elements are still created of the Lord anyway. But it goes to show you how essential water is to life. That same thing, I think there's a scripture that says that there are certain things that are evil to the ungodly, but those same things are basically good and useful to the godly, right? Because water is useful for us, but that same water can cause that much destruction. And all it is just water. You look at tornadoes and stuff like that, and you see it's air. But if you didn't have air with oxygen in it, you would die. So just as much as you need air, that same air can kill you.
Hey, same thing with fire. Fire is a destructive force, man. But you need it to stay warm in the winter. You need it to cook. All right. Without that giant ball of fire up in the heavens, which is the sun, hey, all life would cease.
It would freeze.
Control and it's uncontrolled.
Exactly.
Same way we control the water in this bottle right here. Same water that can rise up. That's the cool about it.
I think I'm not. You got it?
Yeah, I got a quick point to when you were talking about, you were telling the chick and then she was telling you to stop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so in Egypt, when they were getting hit with the plagues, I'm pretty sure that they were living their regular everyday lives until they got hit. Because like if they knew what was about to happen to them in every single detail, then the scriptures wouldn't say that their hearts were failing them because of fear.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And that's how bad it is that you can know it ahead of time and you still get cooked. Like you know how bad it's gonna be, and yet when you see it, nothing could have prepared you for that. And I mean, there's situations like that where it's like you literally get cautioned, you get told, yo, it's horrible, it's crazy. Like people tell you like, yo, don't watch this movie, it's traumatizing. And you're like, all right, let's see how bad can it be. And you watch that shit, now you're like, oh, like I need a therapy to get over that.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. My bad. Testimony about that, because I used to have a friend of mine. Funny, he's a so-called Haitian, right? Growing up in the world, and he ended up being an accountant, which is funny, right? But he was a very squeamish dude. But the dude was like 6'3", but he was like easily like he'll get the ick, or like he'll be. His mind will get fucked up easily. So one time we were watching Encounters of the Third Kind, that movie, in the theaters, and one scene, bro, this big nigga lost his mind, ran out the theater, and bro, I think he tripped and busted his head. Yeah, he tripped and busted his head open, bro.
Great.
So you that squeamish, but you're not seeking the Lord, bro. You should be the number one person that's seeking the Lord, man.
Oh yeah.
When to be protected in the time to come. And we're not saying up here saying we the toughest guys. We know the terrors of the Lord. Therefore, we persuade men. But ultimately, you gotta have the Lord made us of a certain constitution to be able to bear certain things. We speak about judgment frequently so that we can be more familiarized with it. So that way, when the judgments start rolling, it's not like something we haven't been speaking about constantly. But a dude like that, what do you think he's gonna do when Jacob trouble drop? He's seeing actual bodies all around, man. You Jakes, you got no idea, man.
Got it, bro.
Hey, that's like brother said, knowing the terrors of the Most High, we persuade men, in the sense that even the Lord uses even just the elements of the earth alone is terrorizing. right? Think of like Bakar, you said how you could still get people still get a heads up on the judgment that's coming, and they still get judged, right? For example, you might hear like in the wintertime, we see it all the time where they're like, hey, we're gonna have 3 feet of snow, very dangerous roads, don't travel if you don't have to, that kind of thing. And then when you go outside, guess what happens? You see trucks parked on the side, cars in the ditch somewhere on the highway, niggas are spinning in circles and are crashing into each other, right? And people, last this was in April. I was coming down to the city, and bro, it had snowed out of nowhere in April. And it snowed crazy. Like, I'm talking about heavy, heavy snow. And I think I told you about it. I was like, yo, bro, we got snow right. I'm driving like 30 miles an hour on the highway, bro. This shit is crazy. And yo, the snow had started at night where it was unexpected. Most people didn't even know it was going to snow. And the whole highway was packed with snow. And as I'm driving, all I see is cars. Somebody was like in the ditch on the side of the highway. The top of their roof is gone, right? And the car is just in the ditch. And the blinker is just going off. And I'm like, damn, how long has this nigga been here? I know there's no ambulance that got to this nigga because he's like in the middle of the highway. You know what I'm saying? And if it happened at night, he died before if anyone was even going to be able to see him, right? Another one was like a Mercedes, nice ass Mercedes. That was on the side of the railing. It had crashed into the railing. I'm like, look, you got all these nice cars. They got no traction in the ice. Look at this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, there's no such thing as safety anymore. Safety measures, all these things are out the window. When you're dealing with the Lord, you ain't safe. The only safe place is with the Lord. The one who's bringing the judgment is the one who brings you that safety. So when you call safety safe, like this nigga Trump talking about, we're going to build a golden dome. Like, nigga, how the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that going to do? What is that going to do? When you look at prophecy, it states that America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire and destruction. And we have countries on this earth right now that have the capabilities to do exactly what the prophecy says, like Russia, China, all these countries. Why would anyone sit around and say, let's do everything in our power to stop this from happening when it's already happening? You're not going to stop it, bro. America's destruction is inevitable. You can spend $500 trillion on building America to make it a dome. The Lord is still going to destroy it. It ain't nothing about it. Okay? So the point is, people can still be prepared for the judgment of the Lord, and you're still going to get judged without remedy, without mercy, with nothing. Okay? We've seen it before. We've seen it time and time again. All right? Very soon, the world will see it. Then you're going to see the power and the majesty and the glory and the terror of the Heavenly Father. You want to talk about, terrorist groups and all that? The ultimate terror is the Heavenly Father himself. All right? And his terror, his terroristic acts is going to be felt around the whole entire world. All right? The Heavenly Father is the number one terrorist, and you can't do shit about that. He's a terrorist you can't stop. Now what? That's why he's called one of his names is Al-Ashadia, right? Al-Ashad meaning what? A terrible demon-like power. Okay? Terrible. Okay? So when the Lord strikes, like the scripture says, the Lord has spoken, who shall but beaten to powder, some to that effect, right? So when the Most High strikes, if you incite, you're done. It's over with. Okay? When you look at just nature alone, and that alone is frightening enough, how much more the one who created it? Like, what's going on in that head over there? You know what I'm saying? That's why it says, for my ways are not your, no, he said, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. Okay? So when the hell starts breaking down, bro, people be thinking, oh, if there's a God, how can you let this kid die and all these different, there's a God, but you niggas act like there is no God. So what the fuck you think he's going to do? There's a God. If there's a God, this and that, but you don't behave in the way that shows that there is a God. But when a disaster comes, all of a sudden, oh, if there's a God, God didn't do this, why God did this? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, you can't reason with these people. You cannot. Yahushua comes, he says, yo, I came in, John came in here, he was in the wilderness doing his own thing. You niggas say he had demons on him. I come in, I'm eating and drinking with people. Oh, I got demons on me too. Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas, bro? John don't eat and drink. He doesn't drink wine or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do that. You say he got demons on him. I come in drinking, you say I got demons on me. What should we do to you people? All right? That's why you can't please these people. You got to just destroy them and get them up out of here, bro. Reason with the elect. Everybody else gets destroyed. Simple as that. All right? You got it, bros.
Yeah. Hey, beautifully said, man. Let me let that go ahead and pass. Soon it won't be out here anyway.
In a rush, to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Taking his time. emergency.
It's interesting. It's like those, it's people that are operating those. And, you know, when all hell breaks loose, the same way you're not going to go down to your job because it's chaotic out there and you got to stay home and protect your family, they're not going to come out and do their job. So those sounds, you're not going to be hearing too much of those anymore. Like in the movie World War Z, where the cop was up in the store, and the main character, he thinking the cop is coming to arrest him. So he sees the cop, he got his hands up while everybody else is robbing the store. The cop comes, this nigga here, the cop is robbing the store with the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, bro, nobody's here to, I'm gonna arrest you and take you where? Who do you think is at the precinct? Do you think people at the precinct right now? So that's about to be reality. But I wanted to say that to the point that you were making, Haran, you know, really what it is pain. That's what it comes down to. It's pain. Pain is really the best communicator. You know, some people understand through words, but most people here, they need pain to reset their minds again. And I say that because I was watching a video and there was a guy, and what you see in the clip is it's him and there's chick in his car, right? And the story is that the chick ended up cheating on him, and I think he went and basically did it back or something like that. But anyway, she was mad because she got caught and he exposed her and he's pissed off. So she's texting. I think she took his phone and she starts texting his family, his father and shit, saying like speaking explicit. You know, talking about like, you know, is it okay for my girl to cheat or for me to go and cheat with some other girl, my girl? She's saying all this random shit at that very moment. So he's driving and he opens his watch to send a voice note to say, yo, that's not me. She got my phone right now. This demon grabs the steering wheel and starts turning that shit while they're driving on the highway. And he's like, yo, what the hell? And then boom, the car crashes. Car crashes and her bitch ass, now she's like, fixing her hair and shit, just sitting there. And you can see on her face, no remorse. No account, nothing. She's just there. He's like, yo, I just got this car. Oh my God, bro. They weren't hurt, but his car was all damaged and messed up and shit. Now, because none of them were hurt, he still had that pride in her. He still had that no remorse, that like, yeah, well, this is what happens when you try to spoil my plan. But let's say the car crashed and the airbag freaking blew her front whole teeth out, you know, or the door pierced her side or some shit and she was in pain. That would have changed the whole scenario. Then she would have been like, all right. Or if that shit crashed and he died and she was still alive, that's when it's like, oh shit, like what the hell did I do? But because nothing, you know, the car crashed, but nobody got hurt, it still didn't register in her mind that, you know, what you just did is crazy and out of pocket, right? So when this calamity comes, one of the main things the Lord is hitting people with is pain. In Isaiah 13, it says, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in what? In pain, not in pleasure, right? In pain as a woman in travail. That's what the scriptures liken your feeling that you're going to be feeling in these times too. So when people are crying on social media, what are they going through? Pain. People are bugging out in their cars. What are they going through? Pain and a mix of demons. Okay? But that's going to be the main theme. It's going to be pain and suffering. And how which I said, the beginning of sorrows. Sorrows are not pleasurable, especially now when you're going through it. So anyway, let's jump back to 2 Ezra 16. And we'll jump to the interesting part. Let me see if I can find it. There's a part in there that mentions them
The burning wrath of the great multitude.
yeah, but a little above that is
Their inventions.
no, let's start at 18 and then we'll jump around.
Oh, okay.
2 Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear.
Yeah, so that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing the beginning of these things, but people they think that because it's the beginning, it's not what you said it was going to be, right? You said it was going to be famine. You said people were going to be starving. Well, you're seeing the beginning of that. It doesn't just happen overnight, right? It's the food goes to the point where it starts getting real bad. So the Lord is like tightening the grip slowly and slowly and slowly. And you think, oh, It's like somebody puts you in a chokehold, right? And they haven't actually started squeezing yet, and you're already getting cocky. Oh, that's it. This is what everybody's passing out over. And then they start tightening it, and that's when you're like, oh no, what's going on? But then now you pass out. So that's what's happening, right? These are the beginning of these things, the beginning of famines. These people ain't never experienced a famine before. They've never had to. They eat so much, they overeat. You know, like they eat. People nowadays don't eat when they're hungry or eat when their body needs it. They eat just because they feel like eating. Eating has become like a leisure activity. You know, like I feel like eating. You know what? Let me get something. Let me see what's in the fridge. You know, and you know very well you're in no shape to be opening up that fridge. There's certain people where they gotta like you know, formulate the fridge in a way where like you can only open it 3 times a day. You know, the fridge got a camera and looks at your body shape. You know, you're not qualified to open meat right now. Go, nah, dog. Go to the treadmill and then come back. Because you got people that they just beat it. You know, you like, yo, is this like for the family? Nah, this is just for this one person. This is this doctor where these fat people go through and they try to get, man, the world is so messed up. You get so fat, you try to go get operation done so you can look good. So you wanna have your cake and eat it too. They don't work that way. And like that Edomite man who was on the bus, he got caught cheating. He was on the bus with his wife, and this Jake woman pulled up, and she's like, "Yo, you don't recognize me?" And he's out here trying to ignore her and shit. He ended up losing both of them. And then he got mad at the guy, the person behind him recording. Like, the fuck you looking at? They're like, you should have done that. You can't have your cake. And he said, yeah, I can't have my cake and eat it too. And I ate both that cake. Yeah, he was all mad and shit. But these people, they overeat. So when the Lord says famine, even in the ancient world, where people could go days, right? When you fast, they could go days without eating. Because the food had more nutrition and they were more disciplined. Even then, a famine was still severe enough for mothers to eat their children. These people ain't gonna go 48 hours before they start doing that. Go ahead.
The beginning of wars and the powers shall stand in fear.
So what we're seeing are the beginning of wars. When one country provokes another and then says, hey, you got to stop your nuclear enrichment program, and the other country's like, no, I'm not doing that. It's the beginning of wars. We know that. Go ahead.
The beginning of evil.
Mm-hmm.
What shall I do when these evils shall come?
And that's the question everybody needs to be asking themselves. But you know why they're not asking? Because they don't believe that these evils are coming. If they did, then they'd be asking, what should I do? Right? If you hear news that doesn't affect you, you're not worried about what you should do about it. Imagine somebody comes and shows you what's going on in Afghanistan. Yo, do you believe that they're bombing children in Afghanistan? What are we gonna do? First of all, look at you. What do you mean? What we gonna do? What do you expect me to do? Right? That's the kind of answer they'll give you because it doesn't affect them. But if they were like, yo, they freaking shooting people up and they coming block by block and our block is next, the person's gonna ask you, yo, what are we gonna do? Right? The person you showing the video to, now they want to know, all right, what are we gonna do now? Because now it affects them. So when the famine start hitting you, the evils start coming upon you, people are gonna be wondering, yo, what do we do? That's gonna be the number one question on everybody's mind. I'm telling you, people are not gonna care about OnlyFans. They're not gonna care about how beautiful you look. They're not gonna no. When you go to these third world countries, you see a lot of fine shit walking around, right? You go to them nice, you see fine stuff, and you look at where they live, you know, in the slums and all that. You're like, damn, this shit crazy. But when you look at how they're treated, they're not treated the same way as what you would call fine shit over here. Over there, they're treated like whatever, you know. Oh, go do whatever. You're just a regular person walking down the street. Over here, they're people just like, yeah, you know, people just like bowing down to them and showing, oh, she looks so good. Oh, she's so you know what they started to do is they started to go on social media and post themselves, because when they post themselves, people here will see that and then they get those huge followings and shit like that, right? But you know why? Because over there, life is hard. And when life is hard, you don't got time to focus on, damn, this girl's fine as shit. You know, you got people spending millions, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands on OnlyFans. You think if they had that money, that's what they're going to spend it on? No. They got more important things to worry about. When a man wakes up, he's worrying about, all right, how we going to eat today? You know, How are we gonna make this? I hope I make enough money so we can get what we need to get for today. That's what's on their mind because times are hard. So when times are hard over here, people ain't gonna be worrying about fine shit. Some might. The ones who don't have they don't have a brain in their head to think about how are we gonna survive. Okay, but the serious minded individuals, we're gonna be in a serious solemn mindset. So you come around with that shit, it ain't gonna fly over here. Got it? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. You have Ezra. No, yeah, I forgot my point. Hold up. Now he believed and he knew that the time's coming wasn't gonna happen in his time. He knew it would happen in the future, but he still asks, what shall he do in that day?
What?
What's 19th verse? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment.
Yeah. So the Most High is sending these things as scourges for amendment, meaning that it's gonna come upon you. You're gonna be like, yo, this sucks. I don't like not having food to eat. I don't like being sick with this disease. So what's going on? What am I doing wrong? And how can I stop this from happening? That's why the Lord is sending it so that you can turn back and say, yo, maybe we should listen to what they're saying and stop doing these wicked things. That's the amendment. You amend your ways. But as it's going to tell us, yeah, they're going to be like, hey, we don't give a damn.
Hey, just to add to you see glimpses already, and this is the first summer of Nero Trump's second term, right? What? Second term. So you already seeing glimpses of Jacob's trouble, man. ICE clashing with the state forces. Babylon is literally falling apart right before your eyes, but everybody's saying, don't even worry about them fires over there. Don't even worry about them riots over there. Yo, just keep living your best life. The party's over here. Fuck all that. Literally down the street, niggas are rioting. Federal forces are clashing with state forces, but you worried about, yo, where the warehouse party at? We out. Yo, where the pool party? Yo, we out to the beach. Where the hell is that?
Yep.
Your priorities are all the way messed up. So when that time comes, man, and if it's getting bad now, how do you think this is going to play out year 2, year 3 of this man's presidency? Hey, man, it's just getting exciting now.
Yeah. And the spirits turn up in the summer too because it's hot. Right. Go ahead.
But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness.
See? So isn't the Lord justified in bringing the plagues that he's going to bring? Because he's like, yo, if I warn, if somebody's provoking you and you keep warning them to stop and they're not stopping, once you realize that, okay, words are not going to do it, then you got to turn to other means. When an officer comes to you and they try to talk to you and you're not cooperating, what do? They resort to physical force, don't they? Right? And you're going to cooperate by force. So it's the same thing here. You're going to cooperate by force. Go ahead.
Nor be always mindful of the scourges.
So they're not going to mend their ways, and they're not going to be mindful of the scourges. They're not going to say, yo, maybe this is happening because we're wicked. When bad things happen here, nobody stops and says, hey, maybe this is happening because we're wicked. Or maybe this is happening because what we're doing is wrong. Even though they know what they're doing is wrong. And yet, it never dawns in anybody's mind that, hey, maybe this is why this is happening. And even when it gets worse and worse, they're never going to look at themselves and take accountability. Maybe we angered God. You got it?
Right on cue. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth.
Yeah, because they're going to be deceived. You're going to think, just like that peace and safety, as you're thinking, oh, things are getting better. Oh, we're still able to manage. Evils are growing. Evils are growing. Evils are growing. Right?
Sword, famine, and great confusion.
Yeah, the world as it looks today is in a much more chaotic state than it did a decade ago. And the world that was a decade ago was more chaotic than it did a decade before. Go ahead.
If I may, that's why a lot of people are very nostalgic for 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, yo, take me back to that time, because the mirth is gone and things have gotten progressively worse.
Right.
It ain't getting better by any measure at all. It's like an avalanche of judgment.
Right. I'm gonna copyright that.
Well, just a quick point. Yeah, if you analyze from the end of 2019 till now, nothing has gotten better. Things have only gotten worse. You have the pandemic, Then you have the influx of people coming from other nations in here. Now you have the results of that. Now you have a whole, well, after that, you had, you know, the migrants, they were attacking people and things like that. And then now what? You have, oh, we got to deport them and things like that. We got to get them out. You see, things is not getting any better, but people are still in this mindset. Think about it. You're seeing pretty much the slow, well, I don't want to say slow, but you're seeing the decline of America. Things have only gotten worse and worse, but for some reason, people's mind, they think that it's going to be okay. Eldar Tagwan talks about that word, normalcy bias. You know, living in their own bubble. So long as nothing affects them, everything is fine. But no, like the brother was saying, eventually these things that are happening on the other side of the world are eventually going to come over here and they're going to bother you too. They're going to pop your little bubble and then now you're going to be affected by it as well.
Yep. You got it, bro. Couple more verses, then we close it out.
2nd Ezra 16 and 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine.
You heard that? So that means that there's going to be some of you that are alive right now, and the way you're going to die is by starving to death, right? Or by catching a disease because your immune system is so weak from not having food to eat. Go ahead.
And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Yeah. So if you manage to escape that, maybe you're in a city that there's no food, and you manage to escape to another city where you can get some food. But this city now is more chaotic because there's more danger. There's more people getting shot, right? Getting killed. Food might not be the problem for you, but you might end up getting, you know, stabbed up somewhere or something. You may have a bunker where you're fed and somebody breaks in there and then now you're dead. Right?
And the dead shall be cast out as dung.
Yep. And what that means is like today when you walk by, right, you see, yeah, people try to clean up after their animals, but just as common as you see dung on the floor, you're gonna see bodies. Imagine just walking randomly and there's a horrible stench. You turn around and find out, yo, that bag looks a little odd, you know? And then somehow it just falls and there's a hand. The hand just bang, out of that, you know? And you just see flies all around it and shit. You know, that's going to be a disgusting sight to see. And then the hand just flips and then it gets out and crawls at you. Now that's Jacob's trouble. You got it.
And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Mm-hmm.
And the dead shall be cast out as dung.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall be no man to comfort them.
Yeah, you're not going. Today, shit happens, people turn on the news. And you know what they're expecting to hear? They're expecting to hear what's going on, but at the end, oh, we have it under control. Why they listen to press conferences? Why they listen to the presidential remarks? Because, oh, the president is going to address the nation concerning X, Y, and Z. Yeah, they're hoping for him to come and tell you something about how he's going to fix it, right? If any time chaos came, the president came and all he did was make it worse, people would be losing their minds, right? But they watch because they're looking for you to say, yes, we see what's going on, but now we're sending FEMA, right? Now we're sending aid over here to comfort people, right? People have been comforting worse for one another. I saw a video and this lady was talking about the ICE thing. She was talking about how they can come up into your house if they have a reasonable cause to suspect that you're harboring an illegal alien, specifically a gang member, right? And that's pretty much what, if I have a feeling that I got a feeling that somebody's in there, then I could come up into your crib, right? At the end of the video, you know what she said? And a lot of these social media people that like sort of like truthers / social media influencers nowadays in their videos, they're sounding more and more concerned, but they're having less and less encouraging words for people at the end of their video. Most of the time they'll say, hey, you know, stay prayed up and, you know, stay in your politics so you can know what's going on. And now, yeah, stay watching. Now the chick said, yo, usually I say stuff like this, but now I don't have any words for you. There's nothing I can tell you because I can't tell you to go and sue them because the laws that you're using, they don't care about that. It's not working. So just lay low, you know, try to stay out of trouble as best as you can. They're speaking from a standpoint of like, there's nothing you can actually do about this. Just hope that it doesn't come upon you. So that's that reality setting in. Now we don't got to worry about that because we know no matter what happens, we got Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So we all set.
It's like my man Alex Jones, you know, at the end of, he said the video, he said these cities, LA, New York, let's fuck them. Let them be destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If these cities were gone,
would it be really such a bad thing? He's starting to kind of come to the realization of what's happening. Like he had that video about Trump. Like, oh man, he was about to cry. Trump betrayed me. Like, bro, you know all this. It's info wars, but you still in the dark, bro. Come on, sir. You can't be that simple. But hey, man, you trust in this system. That's what you get.
Yep. What verse are we on?
We on 23.
God, we can let's see, 23. Yep. We can end it at 28.
And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down.
Yeah, meaning that the cities that you live in now, that you're seeing people, people keep the cities looking the way they are because you're constantly moving. But when there's more death and fewer people around, then you start to see like those I Am Legend, The Last of Us, kind of like terrain, because now the trees are growing again. Go ahead.
There shall be no man left to till the earth, and to sow it.
So nobody's going to be no farmers, right? Nobody's going to be, creating the furrows and planting the seeds and all that. No, none of that. Now you're on your own. Go on.
The tree shall
That's real quick. That's also because you got Esau and all these corporations shifting everything to AI now. So there'll be no need for farmers to be growing crops when all the crops that you're going to be, or so-called food, is going to be made in a lab anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's also a sign of prophecy being fulfilled, that literally you're not going to see farmers out there because there'll be no need for farmers. Like literally they're just taking them out. You got it, bros.
That's a very good point. Got it.
The tree shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them?
Why is it saying that? It's going to tell you.
For all places shall be desolate of men.
Now today, everywhere you go, you're going to see people. It's probably impossible if you live in the U.S. to leave, unless you live in a isolated area, to go 24 hours without seeing a person at all. If that happened, you'd probably be concerned that something is wrong. You can't. It's impossible to go 24 hours without seeing a single soul. Anywhere you're going to see somebody. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine going like to Times Square, 42nd Street. That's usually a heavily populated area. There's nobody there. It's just dead. That's I've been there before. If anybody's been there, you know how heavily populated that area is.
Yep.
So imagine that area just being like a ghost town.
Hey, that's what it looked like when the CV happened. We went down to the city and everything was boarded. All you saw was pigeons in the streets, man. You didn't see people. You didn't see cars. And I was like, yo, this looks eerie. Like when the lockdown first started, brothers used to drive around and shit. They'd be like, yo, you can't go out. And brothers are still going out. And then it's like, you see outside, you'd be like, yo, man, this is peaceful. Like, there's no traffic. You can go from, one end of Long Island to the next within an hour. You just zoom on the highway and just coming, coming in hot. And that's what's going to happen again very soon. You're going to see literally like the post-apocalyptic view where America is going to look like. You got trees on top of buildings, and you'd be like, damn, this used to be a school. Now it's empty. Like, yo, this used to be a hospital. Look how, like, it's all fucked up now. Yo, this used to be a mall. We used to come over here. Like, look, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be post-apocalyptic in the sense that they'll destroy the inner cities and leave it for a while. You know what I'm saying? And then let people just kind of like sit in the ruins, and then they're going to come in with the presented opportunity. Hey, we could transfer you over to the line out in the Middle East somewhere. You could have a better life over there. Just take this chip and go live over there while we're going to turn America into like a factory only based place where people don't really get to live here unless you want to work. You know what I'm saying? But it's good. It's about to be very uncomfortable, man. Prison cities is coming, right? Microchips are coming. Martial law is coming. Diseases are about to spark out of nowhere, right? Riots left and right. Your economy is going to collapse. Trump is not going to be there to help you. And he's showing you glimpses of it when they asked him about, they asked him a question about the whole Texas flooding thing. And he diverted the question. He's like, no, we ain't dealing with that right now. I said, oh, here we go. All right, so prepare for more of those kind of scenarios where you're looking for your government to help you, and they turn around and say, we don't got resources for you. We got resources for Israel and Ukraine. We got to give them more weapons. Who the fuck is you asking us for money when, your tax dollars, we're using your tax dollars for other things to pay back the Federal Reserve and shit like that. It doesn't have anything to do with you. All right. And it's funny because you're still paying taxes, but the things that your taxes are supposed to be paying for, they're cutting those benefits out. So what's the point of paying taxes now? right? Oh, we use them for healthcare. Well, they say, well, no, not everybody can get healthcare now. We're cutting them shits. Benefits, we're cutting them. Section 8, we're cutting them. Well, what's the point of paying taxes then, right? But yet, you're going to still pay taxes because it's all robbery, man. But anyway, you got it, bro.
Yeah, exactly like you said, man. But
For of a city, 2nd Ezra 16 and 28, for of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks.
yeah, because it's gonna, and that's literally common setting. Like in the book of Eli, you see that where you had that lady who was just like a setup. She acted like she was in the street. She was like she needed help and shit. And then anybody that went to help her, the gang popped up, you know, robbed them and you know and shit like that. But yeah, you're gonna have cities. It's gonna be so scarce, you know, because people are gonna be hiding. They're afraid, hiding in abandoned buildings. You know, there's gonna be certain areas that look worse off than others. That people are gonna be trying to get from one area to another to the better areas. You know, and some of them ain't gonna make it because they're not gonna be letting everybody in. You might end up in one of them zones, right? Because eventually that's pretty much what's gonna become different zones, and you gonna probably end up in one of them zones where you're like, how the hell did New York City, turn into like a scene out of the Division video game? And that's when the rumors start coming around where it's like, yo, I heard it in New York there's this plague turning people like half dead and they eating people and shit. Yeah, you got it.
Remember a few years ago, the sister Yapa Ayesha, you know, she might be on there right now actually. And you know, she was saying how she had a dream, how she was with us, and you know, it was with a bunch of people as well. And we went into like some store, and then we got provisions and things like that. And as soon as we left that place, the whole place turned dark and lifeless. And it was kind of like that where we were going, we were good. But then once we left that place, it became pretty much like a dead zone at that point. And that's a sign that that's how the Lord's going to be dealing with the elect. All right, when the time comes that, of course, no matter what state you may be in, what country you may be in, right? Once all hell breaks loose, the Lord He's going to give you provision. Don't marvel if you walk into a man that you think, oh, that's a man of the Lord, It might be an actual angel. You know what I'm saying? Just like the story of Tobias, right? Tobias was walking with an angel the whole time, but he just thought it was just another one of his relatives, a brother. Oh, yo, you know, you know? And it made sense to him. It made sense to his pops and everything. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's how it's going to be, where you're going to be around the men of the Lord and you're going to be protected in them days. You know, if you happen to be around one of us or whatever the case may be, you know you're in the best case scenario because literally nothing can harm you. Nothing. Because you're protected by the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Around us, man, the Lord, we're going to be good. We're going to be fed. We're going to be sheltered. We're not going to worry about nothing. It's just going to be like just passing time until the Lord comes back. Meanwhile, the world, we're witnessing people suffering and shit, and we're good. Just like the time of Egypt and with Goshen and Egypt, right? Goshen was where the Israelites were at, and we were fine. We had electricity, we had light, we had food, we had everything. But the Egyptians were struggling. They were in darkness, thick darkness, where they were bugging out, you know? So we're going to be witnessing these things. The Lord said he's going to plague this place like he did back ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? It's a modified version of it. You know, today's version where you're going to have artificial intelligence involved in that type of treatment that the Lord is going to be putting on this place, man. All right. But with that, we're going to have spiritual power as well. You know what I'm saying? Of all kinds. You know, so that's a blessing that we're going to be looking forward to. You got it, bro.
That's right. Let's go from that.
2nd Ezra 16 and 28, for of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field.
So, because Ezra saw that. He saw how, like, from a populated, why does he say of a city there shall be 10 left, right? Because some cities maybe only have 10 people. But he had to have been shown what it looked like in a normal sense and what it looks like now, you know, with that kid, that so few people left. That's why he emphasized that point. Go ahead.
Which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks.
That was it on that. That was it on that. So that's going to be a scary sight to see and experience, you know. And you know, humans are social creatures. You know, like in I Am Legend, dude started going crazy talking to mannequins. You know, because it was at least he had his dog. But some of these people, they're just going to be completely, you know, out there, done. Some of them just blowing their brains out. So it's going to get out. It's going to get ugly out here, you know. But for the elect and those that put their faith and trust in the Heavenly Father, right, in Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, the Lord is going to protect and preserve you. But for the rest out here, you're gonna fit these roles that we're reading up here in prophecy. So anyway, with that, brothers don't got anything else. We're gonna pretty much close it out. Closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.